So I'd like you all to come into a standing position, just to start off with. So I just want you to think about, it's really important, especially to understand the building blocks of our alignment. And we get that best when we are in a standing position. So I just want you to look down at your feet, and they roughly want to be about hip width apart. And your toes pointing directly towards the camera, so they're not too Charlie Chaplin. And I just want you to start to lengthen up through that spine, start to feel space between each vertebra. Just roll the Roll the shoulders, let them sit comfortably down the back. Feel the length of the neck, almost like you've got this invisible bit of string pulling out the top of your head. And just taking a breath in here. And with your feet, you can have your eyes closed at this point. Just start to think of that connection of the big toe, the little toe, the center of the heel. The legs are straight, but we're not locking back the knees. So just be mindful that the knees are soft. And I want you to envision the three building blocks. So the head stacked on top of your rib cage, stacked on top of your pelvis. We're just going to take another breath in here. And with each breath, just start to feel yourself lengthening up through the spine. Hello, you're right there. And exhaling out the mouth. So this is another good, while we're doing this breathing technique of in the mouth and in through the nose and out through the mouth, I want you to start to feel this little connection through the deep abdominals and the pelvic floor, almost like a little gentle lifting, a little zipping sensation coming up. So we're not pushing out, we're not bracing the stomach out, we're not trying to push or force anything out. We're almost sort of trying to hold this little penny right in the center between pelvis and the deep abdominals. Just a gentle little connection. And we want to keep hold of that connection, especially when we start doing the movements. So let's start by mobilizing the shoulders now. So I just want you to imagine you're holding a tray. So the palms are facing up and the elbows are in line with the shoulders. Take a breath in to prepare. And as you exhale, I just want you to open up those arms and close on the inhale. So we exhale and we inhale. I'm going to come a little bit closer. So we breathe in and we breathe out. So try and keep the elbows connected into your side. So try not to let them open up too much. And everything else is staying completely stable. We're not moving anything else, just working through those shoulders a little bit. Good, keep going. Exhale. Breathing in. Exhale. Keep lengthening up through that spine. Good. 2 more. Last one. And then just relax those arms back down by the side of the body. Let's come into some floating arms now. So starting with the left, keeping it slightly in front of the body. I want you to breathe in this time as you reach the arm up. Let that shoulder relax down. And exhale. Float back down. Other side. Breathing in. Try and keep that arm in your peripheral vision. Exhale. Breathe in. So while you're doing these arm movements, I want you to think about that little penny, that little zipping up through the deep abdominals. So it's not a forcing, it's not a pushing out, just a little zip up, just so you know that it's there. Good. Last one, and then we're going to go into the double floating arms. So this time, let's take both arms up, breathe in, shoulders relax down, start to zip up a little bit, almost like you're pushing your belly button slightly towards the back of your spine. Breathe in. Relax those shoulders. Exhale. Good. 2 more. If this feels okay. Breathing in. Exhale. Good. Last one. Breathing in. And exhale. Lovely. Let's bring our feet a little bit wider now. And then slightly outside the the hips. We're going to come into side reach, so we're going to come into some flexion of the spine. Coming back to our left arm, we're going to float it up. And then I want you to think about head, neck, upper spine, a gentle little flexion over. So you're still keeping long in the waist, you're not just collapsing. And the pelvis, we don't move from the bottom. Let's restack the spine and float that arm back down. Keep that arm slightly in your vision. Other side, breathing in. And then exhale, little flex. Think about pushing that belly button slightly back towards your spine. Restack. And lower. We're going to do one more to each side. So it's breathe in. Exhale. We'll scoop of the belly. Restack. And float back down. Other side. Breathing in. Exhale. Little scoop of that belly. Breathe in. And exhale. Good. Just roll those shoulders. Let them sit down. So we're going to come into what we call the spine curl. Now, if any of you get dizzy quickly and don't want to roll down, just come and lie yourself on the mat, because we're going to be there next. So if that really, anything to do with your head sort of tipping forward and you don't want to do it, just come and lie down on the mat. We're just going to do a couple of what we call the roll downs. So back to feet being about hip width. I want to keep your knees nice and soft. And I want you to think about that tailbone being slightly dropped and thinking of that little zip up through the center. We're going to take a breath in, and as we exhale, we're going to tuck the chin a little bit, like you're still holding a peach between your chin and your chest. I want you to scoop the belly a little bit and start to allow your spine to roll forward. So while you're rolling forward, the weight is slightly going over the arches of your feet. We're only going to come about halfway. I want your arms to be hanging. I want your neck to be free of tension. Keep that little scoop in the belly. And then on your next exhale, lift those ribs away from your toes and start to restack those building blocks one at a time, with the head coming up last. Good. I'm going to do that again. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale, a little tuck of the chin, not all the way to the chest. And let the weight slightly go over the arches of your feet without lifting those heels. Little scoop in the belly to control the movement and protect your lower spine. Soft knees. At the bottom, just let everything hang. Let the neck be long, free of tension. Maybe open and close the mouth a couple of times. Breathe in at the bottom and then exhale. Scoop that belly. Think of that little zipping up through your center as you restack. Bone by bone, head coming up last. And do it one more time. If you want to go all the way down, feel free to do that. We breathe in. Exhale, tuck the chin. Scoop the belly, thinking about going through the center line, weight slightly over the arches. You can either come halfway, or if you feel okay, you can take yourself all the way down. Still thinking about lifting the ribs slightly away from your toes, scooping through that belly. Little yes, little no, just shake the neck a little bit. And then on your next exhale, keep that belly slightly scooped as you restack. The pelvis comes forward, the shoulders, and the head. Lovely. So we've warmed up our spine and our shoulders a little bit. We're going to just do, we're going to come down onto the mat now, and we're going to come into our relaxation position. So the relaxation position is we lie down onto our back. If you've got a little head cushion you might want to use, that's fine, but nothing more than an inch, because otherwise your head's going to be too flex, which is what we don't want. Move my mat. I've changed my room around, so I'm having to edit my my mat, which is very irritating. So let's lie ourselves down very carefully. The knees are bent and the feet are roughly about hip width apart. And I want you to have a little gap between your knees and your thighs, so the feet aren't too close or too far. So somewhere comfortably into the middle. Let the shoulders be drawn away from the ears, arms down by the side. And I just want you to take a little moment for you here. Start to allow the body to adjust and to soften into the mat. Start to feel your spine being released down. And I want you to start thinking about the back of the head, the weight of your head, the back of the rib cage, and the back of the pelvis. Drawing your attention to your feet. Are they even? Is one rolling to the sides or either left or right? Just being mindful that you've got a nice base of connection through your feet. Big toe, little toe, center of the heel. Just start to feel the spine getting released and lengthened into the mat. Release any tension in the jaw, in the face. And just take a few breaths in here, in through the nose, really feeling the backs and the sides of the rib cage widening. And then as you exhale, just start to feel the ribs closing in. You're going to do that 2 more times. Breathe in through the nose. You can even bring your hands onto your rib cage. Breathe into your hands, into the sides and into the backs. And then as you exhale, just let the ribs soften down, bringing everything back and release. Just do 1 more breath for me here. Into the sides, breathing in, and then exhaling. Good. So arms back down by the side, just gentle little bit of neck rotation just to warm up the neck. So we're going to take a breath in as we exhale. Let's start to take that right ear over to the right shoulder, very gently. And then breathing, coming back to center. And exhaling, going over to the other side. Breathing in, back to center. Exhaling, back to the right. Breathing in. And exhaling. Good. So once your head is back in the center, you're going to place your hands onto your hips. Now this is a really good indicator because we want our pelvis to be really stable. We're going to come into some knee openings. So we're going to start with the right leg. And I want you to think about maintaining that stable pelvis while you open your right knee out to the side. Keep your foot down, but let it roll onto the outer border. I want you to hold this position here. Start to zip up through your center a little bit as you close the knee back in. So we exhale on the movement, going to the other side. Start to zip up through your center. Hold, breathe in, and then exhale and close. Keep going. So we exhale on the movement. Zip up, thinking about that little penny that you're grabbing hold of in deep inside those abdominals. So we don't use our tummy muscles or our core stability. Our pelvis wants to come with us. I'll just show you a demonstration. If I just let everything go and I open my leg, pelvis wants to come with me. So this is where we start to think about that little lift, that little sort of zipping up through your center, sort of pushing your belly button almost towards the back of your spine a little bit. Keep that pelvis really, really stable. Just keep opening and closing those knees. Exhaling on the movement. And breathing in, coming back. And while you're doing this, the shoulders are heavy, the breastbone is soft. And if at any point you get lost with your breathing, just breathe naturally, breathe normally. It's always better to breathe than hold your breath. You've got 1 more to each side. Exhaling. Hold. And then using that core to take that leg back. Making sure you're nice and even on both sides. And then you can bring your hands back down by the side of the body. And we're going to take our arms all the way up over our chests. Going to come into our starfish. So coordination as well. I want you to dig your right heel in and start to slide it away. And as you do that, keep your toes flexed towards your nose. You're going to start to reach your left arm overhead. Just watching that that shoulder isn't gathering up towards your ears. You're going to breathe in here. And then as you exhale, you're going to take everything back to center and go over to the other side. So it's opposite arm lengthening and opposite leg. And what we're doing here is we're still using our core because we want our spine to stay stable. We don't want any other movement apart from coming through our shoulders and our hips. So opening up that hip, feeling that little scoop in the belly. Breathe in, hold the position, and then exhaling, going over to the other side. So it's all about that control. So again, if I wasn't to use my core for this movement, my ribs naturally want to just pop. And we don't want the ribs to pop. We want the ribs to stay lovely and heavy. You've got one more set to go. And once you've done a nice even amount, just bring the hands back over chest. Keep them about shoulder width, in line with your shoulders. We're going to just turn the palms to face each other. And now we're going to breathe in as we reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling, feeling that little scapular lift and slide up. Exhale, dropping it back down. Breathing in, reach. Exhaling, lower. Breathing in, reach. Exhaling, lower. Last one, breathing in, reach. Exhaling, lower. Turn the palms to face the knees and lower them all the way back down. Good. So we're going to come into our single knee folds and extension now. So let's lift that right heel. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, I want you to draw that knee into a single knee fold. Keep your knee roughly in line. Already, I want you to feel that tummy having to engage. Thinking about that little zip up. And then we're going to just straighten the leg away. Feel that zipping up. Back to your single knee fold and lower back down. So back to the other side. We lift the heel. We come into a single knee fold. Breathe in, helping with your stability as you extend that leg away. Good. Drawing it back in and lowering it. Back to the other side. So we exhale. Breathe in. Thinking about that little scoop in the belly. Back to a single knee fold and lower. Other side. Lift the heel first. Draw the knee in. Extend it away. Coming back to a single knee fold and lower. Good. Last set. Single knee fold. Breathe and extend. Feel that zipping up. Back to your single knee fold and lower. Last one. Breathing in, lengthen. Back to the single knee fold and lower. Good. So just taking both knees in towards the body now. Keep your toes connected, just doing a few little circles, quite small circles with the knees, nothing too big. Going the other direction. Breathe in, breathe out. And then just take the knees back in one last time and drop the tailbone and lower the feet back down. So we're going to come into some hip rolls. So let's bring the arms out to a wide V, palms facing the ceiling. Connect your legs fully, so the ankles, the knees, the thighs. And I want you to keep that connection. We're going to start to take the knees over to the right, so that left foot slightly lifts. Keep the knees together. The left hip's going to roll, but we're keeping the left shoulder down. So start to think core control, that little scoop in the belly, almost like you're pushing that belly button slightly back. Breathe in, hold. And then exhale, take your legs back to center. Other side. So exhaling. Knees go one way, opposite hip lifts, but the shoulder stays down. Scooping that belly. Control the movement with your core. Breathe in. Exhaling. You've got two more to each side. Exhale on the movement. Breathe in, hold. And then using those abdominals to take your legs back to center. Last one on this side. Just making sure you're even. Breathe in. And then using that core to take your legs back. Good. Just open your feet out again, back to being about hip width apart. So we're going to come into our spine curls now. So I want you to think about that tailbone. And I want you to tuck it slightly towards your nose. And if you do this, your hip is rolling and you're feeling that lower part of the back release into the mat. So untuck, should be a little pocket of air. natural curves of the spine. But if I tuck my tailbone slightly, I start to feel that release. Now we're going to lift the spine up and away. So we're going to keep that tailbone tucked. We're going to open the hips. We're going to push through our feet and start to peel the spine up and away. We're going to come to about the base of your shoulders, soften the rib cage down so we're not pigeon chesting as high we can go. Maintain this position, breathe in, and then as you exhale, I want you to think bone by bone by bone going back down into the mat. So thinking about that tailbone, keep it tucked, feel that lower part of the spine release into the mat, and then you can just relax the pelvis back to the start. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Breathe in, exhale, tuck the tailbone, open the hips, push through the feet, peel the spine up and away. Try and not deviate to left and right. Stay in the center. Breathe in, and then exhaling, start to lower the spine. Like an imaginary bit of string is pulling your spine bone by bone by bone all the way down. Massage the whole thing. And then relax at the bottom. Let's go again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Tuck the tailbone. Start to open. Still got that little zipping up through our center. The hips are open. The ribs are softening down. Breathe in at the top. Exhaling. Bone by bone by bone. And release. Ooh, well done. So just resetting yourself. You're going to take those arms back over your shoulders, and we're going to come into something called the Ribcage Closure. So this is really good for lengthening through our ribs and to our hips. I want you to breathe in, and as you exhale, you're going to start to reach your arms, lengthening them overhead. And as you're lengthening them, I want you to start to thinking about that little lift in the center, keeping your spine nice and lengthened and heavy onto the mat. Breathe in. And exhale, reach the arms all the way back down by the side of your hips. Let's go again. Breathing in, exhaling, lengthening them. Relax those ribs down, thinking of dropping your breastbone. Try to avoid the chest pigeoning out. And then lower back down. Breathing in, reach. Exhaling. And while your arms are going overhead, like they're framing your face, just start to be mindful of your shoulders. So we're not trying to reach them up here, because that usually makes the ribs want to pop. Heavy breastbone, a little zipping up through your center. Keep your back of your pelvis nice and grounded as well. We've got 1 more. Breathing in, exhaling, zipping up through your center. Breathing in. And then releasing. Good. Now, if it feels okay, we're going to combine the spine curl and the arms. If that's going to be too much for you, just stick with just the regular spine curls that we did. So we're starting with that spine curl. So we tuck that tailbone, we open those hips. Nice even weight through your feet. Make sure we're not gathered up by the neck. And then keeping the spine lifted, we're going to reach the arms all the way overhead, lengthening away. And then lowering your spine back down carefully, bone by bone by bone. Feel that lower part of the spine release. And then the arms will follow back down. We're just going to do that 1 more time if it feels okay. You can always just rest here and breathe if needs. Exhaling, tuck the tailbone, open the hips. Softening the ribs down. And then once you're stable, you can reach the arms up overhead, drawing them all the way. Shoulders away from ears as you lower the spine back down, bone by bone. Keep that tailbone towards your nose. Feel that lower part of the spine release. And then relax the arms all the way back down. Well done, well done. So from here, we're just going to do a couple of curl-ups. So just remove if you have a little head cushion, bring your hands behind the back of your head, leaving your neck nice and free. And the elbows in your peripheral vision, so don't just let them collapse. We want the scapula to be coating the backs comfortably. I want you to think about now your pelvis and it being quite grounded. And then just start to think of that little lifting up inside your pubic bone and your deep abdominals. So not bracing, a little lift. We're going to come up into a curl up. Now, it's not about crunching the abdominals. It's about flexion in your upper spine. So we're going to tuck the chin a little bit, keeping about a fist width between your chin and your chest. And just gently flex the spine forward. Not a big movement, not about height. Feel that little zip up. Hold here, breathe in. And then as you exhale, start to lower that spine back down. Feel the weight of the spine going back and then sliding your head. Don't let the arms collapse. We're going to do that 3 more times if that feels okay. So we tuck the chin, exhale. So even though the head is coming up, you're almost pushing your spine down. Keeping that pelvis grounded. A little breath in at the top, exhale, lower. 2 more. So grounded pelvis. It's not about height. Breathe in, breathe out. And then each time you come up, just make sure you've still got that little width between the chin and the chest, that fist. Breathe in and breathe out, lowering everything. And then you can take your hands away. Just lower the hands down by the side of the body. Just allow the head to rock gently from side to side. And then extend one leg, extend the other leg. I'd like you to just bring both toes towards your nose, so you're flexing the feet, really feeling that stretch through the back of the calf, and then point your toes away. One more time, flex the feet and point away. And then just make little circles with your ankles, going one way, and then going the other way. One might be clicky, usually have a more clicky ankle. And then relax, you're going to take those arms all the way over your head and just relax everything. So depending on your shoulders, you might just want to come into a low V. You might find this comfortable with the arms slightly up, but let everything go. So this is a good time to, when I say we don't want the ribs or anything to pop out, this is a nice time to just let the body do what it wants to do. Just let it go. Just take a breath in here and exhaling. Breathing in and breathing out. Bend both knees again. Gently bring both knees in. Just drop the tailbone and release it. Drop the tailbone and release it. And then just give it a little wiggle to each side. A couple of knee circles. Just massaging the back of the pelvis. Other side. Breathe in and just lower. We're just doing one more stretch here. So let's come into a single knee fold with our right. And then we're just going to clasp the hands behind the back of the thigh. I almost want you to imagine you're pulling your thigh away, but your hands are trying to pull it in. So we've got the chest is open. We're going to then extend that leg up to the ceiling. So it doesn't matter if the knee needs to be bent. Just feel that stretch. You're going to flex the foot now, bringing the toes towards nose, and just start to lower your heel towards the back of your thigh. Point the toe up and flex it back down. 2 more. Point up, flex down. Last one. Point up, breathing in, exhale. And then just release that thigh, just pulling it in towards the body. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and then release the foot. Just going over to the other side. So single knee fold first. Don't take the knee too far in. We still want that tailbone slightly dropped into the mat. Take the thigh behind, the hands behind the back of the thigh, almost like you're pulling the thigh away, but pulling the hands in. So we've got that connection. That's already making our tummy sort of naturally connect. Start to extend that leg up to the ceiling, pointed toe, flex the foot and lower back down. You'll have a much tighter side. My left leg is much tighter. So flexing the foot down, just breathing and exhaling. Last one. Breathe in and exhaling. And just pull that knee in. Last time. And release. Just for our last movement of the class, I want you to bring your hands back into a low V. So making sure that the hands are underneath the shoulders so they're not up here. And bring the feet a little bit wider now, so about mat width if you have a mat. I want you to imagine your thigh bones are a bit like magnets. And we're going to take them both over. So both feet roll onto the outer side. The legs are going right, the left hip is now lifting, but we're still keeping that left shoulder connected into the mat. So start to feel that little zip up through the center. It's not a big movement. Don't just let everything collapse and go. It's all about that control. Breathe in, take everything back to center, and then go over to the other side. And if it feels okay, you can add the opposite neck rotation. So we're starting to really spiral out, use that spine out. Breathe in, exhale. And last one, make sure you're even. And then you can bring everything back to center. Walk the feet in. Just one last hug of the knees. Drop the tailbone. Little wiggle. And then you can just take the legs fully away. And just let everything completely go into the mat. So just taking this time for you. Just breathing, just starting to see how your body might be feeling now from the beginning of the lesson. But I'm just going to leave you here, so don't feel you have to get up or move. Just take this time for you. Just enjoy just a few more minutes. Just taking everything in, letting everything be completely heavy. Just letting the mind go. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you next week. And if not, have an amazing week. Take care.